in the early stages of its competitive community, Axe PvP had 3 undeniable top players: Sponker, Swayshi, and OneSpring. The 3 of them dominated the top player position for over half a year, but it was inevitable that other players would get on their level and maybe even surpass them. In this episode, I'm going to talk about 2 players in particular who've managed to excel in this game mode to be regarded as some of the best to ever play. This is the story of the Shield Dancers. On August 30th, 2020, a player by the name of Adrenaline would join PvP Legacy for the first time. Adrenaline's venture into 1.9 PvP started because of MCC. Around this time, MCC 10 was announced, which gave viewers the opportunity to compete in MCC if they made an application video. In order to prepare, Adrenaline would join PvP Legacy, where his journey to the top would begin. After about a month of playing, Adrenaline would discover the tier lists, the Axe PvP community's way of recording a person's skill in this game mode. To get better, he simply dueled every name he saw in that list, such as Beadu, Orca Tsunami, CH12, and so on. Over time, he would get better, as expected, until one fateful day, he proved that he could compete with the top players. This was the day Adrenaline 6-0'd Swayshi. He had done the near impossible. Beating a top player on its own was hard enough, but without losing a single game was almost unheard of. So, how did he do it? What made him so great? Well, the answer is simple. He had mastered the art of shield dancing. So what is shield dancing? It's basically a passive-aggressive strat where you jump around your opponent while shielding and unshielding, making it uncertain when you're going to attack. Using this strategy, you can either get a quick, unexpected backstab on your opponent, or even bait out one of their attacks, allowing yourself to get a free hit. Adrenaline's mastery of this defensive yet aggressive playstyle allowed him to rise to the top, and after Sponker's eventual retirement, Adrenaline finally had the honor of saying that he was the best Axe PvPer in the world. But that's not the end of the story. Seemingly out of thin air, a new player would arise, a master of defense and arguably the greatest Axe PvPer of all time. His name was none other than Madlog. Madlog's journey started around October, and within just 4 months, he reached the level of top players. How did he manage to rise to the top in a mere 4 months when it's taken others half a year? Well, let's find out together. Madlog's specialty was his insane defense and spacing. If his shield was up, he would use it to block every hit you tried to throw at him. If his shield was down, he would simply outspace you and get a free hit. The most boring yet interesting quality about Madlog was his playstyle. The boring part is that Madlog's playstyle was extremely plain. It was just the epitome of defense. But the interesting part? He managed to master the simple playstyle to a point where he became unbeatable. This extremely basic yet effective playstyle is what gave Madlog the reputation as the best. And, well, his name definitely held up to that reputation. In fact, he would go on to hold the #1 spot for over 5 months. Adrenaline and Madlog were doing good, So, what happened? Where did they go? Well, like the top players before them, they just kinda stopped grinding for number 1. And with the new meta introduced, others would take their place, but that's for another video. Adrenaline and Madlock were both incredibly skilled players and some of the best the community had ever seen. They both mastered the use of the shield, they both were known for their defensive superiorities, and they both deserve a special spot in Axe PvP history. In contrast to the previous 3 top players, who all played rather aggressively, these two proved that a defensive playstyle could dominate at the highest level. This is Axe PvP history, and now you know the story of the Shield Dancers.